Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Sunday morning in Colorado Springs. And this morning is a snow morning in Colorado Springs. But at 10 o'clock, we're still going to have the service because I slept here in the church last night because of the forecast. The forecast said, well, they originally said we were going to get several feet of snow. Now they say not so much. But I know that it's hard to predict. And so I slept here last night and I'm here this morning. And we are doing this at 9 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have the service. If nobody can come, and if it's dangerous and things like that, then I'll just have a service myself. And we do that out of honor for those who have church in the areas where the church suffers. So in a communist country, in an Islamic country, in nations like that, where they either have to have underground services that are secret at the risk of their own lives or businesses or families or torture, or places where they continue to have church when the weather is horrible. I have pictures of believers' meetings in the Philippines when floodwaters were up to the worshipers' waists, and there they are worshiping. And of course, we know the stories from the old Soviet Union and North Korea, where the believers are killed or maimed or tortured for going to a believers' meeting. And so anyway, out of honor for them, we at St. James Church have decided we have church no matter what. And now for all the supplementary meetings that we have, youth meetings, Royal Rangers, the Tuesday and Wednesday night studies, those types of things, it's subject to weather and the leader, but not on Sunday morning. We always have that service. Hey, this morning, I wanted to tell you that we are looking for a handful of people that have been married 7 years or less to come to a marriage seminar that Gail and I are going to be teaching next Saturday. That's the 20th, Saturday the 20th. I think that's the first day of spring or close to it. And we're going to gather at 10 in the morning on Saturday morning. We will provide you with a free lunch, and then we'll get done about 3 in the afternoon. Gail and I are going to teach it because we feel like we've been married. We know we've been married 42 years. And during that time, we've had some wonderful times. We've had 5 children, one of whom is a special needs son. And we've had some glorious, successful, delightful times in our marriage. And then we've had some very difficult times in our marriage. And now we're just so happily married and so pleased with one another. We're thrilled that we stuck together. And so we would like to take this time it's kind of an experiment. We're having you come free. And so if you know somebody that's been married 7 years or less, or if you've been married 7 years or less and you'd like to come, we would like for you to come for free because this is kind of a practice run. There are 3 primary areas of study that we're going to touch on. 1, what the Bible has to say. And 2, we're going to talk about your personality profile according to the DISC system. Now, the DISC system will help you identify if you're a dominant person, or if you are an inspiring person, or if you are a cautious person, or if you are a supportive person. And of course, all of us are a combination of those things. But once we can identify what our dominant personality style is, then we understand ourselves more, and we understand our spouse and our children and our coworkers, et cetera. So that'll be helpful to all of you that come, regardless of whether you have children or not. But it will be so helpful with your marriage. So we'll spend time on that. Then we're going to spend time on the 5 basic needs that absolutely everybody has. So everything we do and everything we say is to fulfill one of these 5 needs. Now, one of our needs is for survival, of course. Another of our needs is for love and belonging. Another of our needs is for freedom. Another one, power. And of course, the need for fun. I know lots of marriages that have been destroyed because they didn't satisfy each other's fun needs, or they didn't give one another enough freedom, or people felt powerless in the marriage, or they got in a situation where they were behind on their finances and upside down, and they just felt like they were living for survival and not enjoying any freedom, not enjoying any love, not enjoying any power, personal power, not having any fun. And so we'll look at that and we'll talk about the 5 basic needs and all that type of thing. And then the other thing we're going to look at and we're going to focus on are attachment styles. Now, this is very, very interesting. I've been pastoring for over 40 years, and I see some people that come in and just connect with the Lord and worship in a beautiful way. Other people believe in worship and they want to sing and they want to worship. They just don't connect. All right. And so the same thing happens in relationships. And so I know some that have struggled with immorality because they so want to connect with other people. And then they find out some sexual experiences are connecting. Other sexual experiences are just a physical act. It's biological. And so some people are connected with their spouses. Other people are not connected with their spouses, but they want to be, but they don't know how to be. And so we're going to talk about different attachment styles. We're going to talk about a secure attachment style, and that's a person that's secure in how they relate to people and how they talk to people and how they're able to have wholesome, healthy relationships in the long run. And then other people have an anxious attachment style. And when you have an anxious attachment style, that means you're not trusting the attachment and the relationship, and you can't for some reason. And some of the people around you will be faithful and loyal and dependable and responsible and things like that, but you're still anxious about attaching. And so for some reason, you'll pull back or be a little cautious. And if that gets into your marriage, if you've got an anxious attachment style in your marriage, you need to know that and be able to deal with that so that your marriage can be more intimate and so that your sex life can be better. And so that when you are together, you're really connected. All right. Then the third attachment style we're going to talk about is the avoidance style. And all of you have met people who have an avoidant attachment style, and they kind of communicate, I'm okay no matter what you do. And if you leave me, well, that's your choice, so be it. If you stay around, well, that's your choice, so be it. And so they kind of give an aloof feeling that I'm going to be okay no matter what you do. And it's fine if you're around, but it's also fine if you're not. And then if you have an avoidance style, and then you get in a position where you are in a survival mode, then that combination creates something in a marriage that needs to be very thoughtfully navigated, or people end up deeply hurting one another. See, nobody gets married thinking this is going to be a divorce. And nobody gets married thinking, okay, if I stay married to this person, I'm going to be lonely all my life. And nobody gets married thinking, oh, he drinks now and he does some drugs now, but he won't after we get married because I'll love all that out of him. Or they get married thinking those things, and then they get down the road and they realize the drinking is getting worse and he's getting mean. Or she's doing more prescription drugs and she's not really talking. There's an awful lot of silence around our house. And so now that's okay if the husband and the wife are both a supportive personality, but they're not outgoing, they're not dominant, they're not talky type people, but they're more task-oriented people. And so you have to be able to work that together. So here's the bottom line. Next Saturday morning, that's the 20th, here at St. James Church, we want, a handful of couples that have been married 7 years or less. They do not have to be St. James people. And actually, it would probably be good if Gail and I don't know some of them, and others of them we will know, that will just come and be here by 10. We'll stay until 3. We'll serve lunch, and we'll talk about the combination of personalities. Like some people are very dominant some of the time, and then they become totally reserved other times. And why does that happen? And when they become reserved, are they really communicating dissatisfaction, or are they just needing some time by themselves? All those types of things we're going to talk about. And of course, we will do it all in the context of the Bible and what the Bible says that we can do to strengthen our marriages, and what the Bible says, some of the things that would be detrimental to any marriage. All right. Now, why do we want to do this with people that have been married 7 years or less? It's because of this curriculum. This is what we're going to use. I'm so glad that I married you. Now, in the future, we're going to have another seminar for people that have been married 8 years or more. And that seminar is going to be entitled, I'm Still Glad That I Married You. And so it's for people that are still glad they married, but, there's still things to talk about as we grow through marriage. With Gail and I, our marriage was very different in our 20s than it was in our 30s, than it was in our 40s, than our 50s, and now we're in our 60s. We think our 50s and 60s have been the most awesome because I had a scandal when I was 50 years old, and Gail and I met one another at a greater depth than we had ever met one another before. We had a great marriage before, but boy, oh boy, when you've gone through your worst day with your spouse and the marriage survives it, the connectivity is actually absolutely awesome. So anyway, here's what I want you to do. If you know somebody that may be willing to come to this, get in touch with them and have them get in touch with me. Or if you are in a position where you can come to this, get in touch with me and I'll reserve your spot. Okay, my phone number is 719-338-0079. And so you can text me all your information. But listen, do not sign up for this and then not show up. When we actually do it, after Gail and I have run through it and see what we like, see what we don't like, all that kind of thing, then we'll charge $200 for this seminar. $200 a person. All right, so it's going to be $400 a couple. I don't know. That may be too much, you think? Well, we'll know after we test it. And so we actually might say, leave it free. Or we might say, charge $1,000 a person. I don't know. All right, but we want to do what's fair. And the reason we charge people is because we want them to make an investment in it. But this one is free. It's on the 20th of March. Here at St. James Church, 4615 Northpark Drive. And it'll be from 10 in the morning, and we'll start right on time. So get here at 9:30 or 9:45. We have tables set up, so each couple will be at their own table. You won't be sitting with other couples, needing to interact with them and things like that. You may be in a stage where you don't really like strangers, and that's fine. We won't force you to talk to them. And then we'll do the presentations, and it'll be interactive between the two of you, not between the two of you and other people in the class. Okay, and we just want a handful of couples that have been married 7 years or less, and it does not matter how old you are. If you're in your 80s and you just got married 3 years ago, let's go for it. And if you're in your 20s and you just got married 5 years ago, let's go for it. If you're a teenager and you got married last week, come to this meeting. Okay, so that's what we've got for today. It's a beautiful snow day. Enjoy reading a book, watching a movie, playing with your Legos with your kids or your grandkids, or playing a mighty game of Risk. Okay, it's been a wonderful Sunday. God bless you.